Done. Well, Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley has set a hearing on the issue set for next week, and he joins me now. Just a little bit more to listen to from President Trump yesterday.
We're having a lot of problems with the courts because the courts want to pretend they're president, and they're not president. They can't do that to this country. That's not their job.
What do you hope to accomplish at this hearing? Is it informational, or do you hope to advance a piece of legislation?
We have to advance legislation. The hearing is to set the basis for it. I think it's very obvious over the last 20 years there's been massive abuse of these national injunctions, whether we have a Republican president or a Democrat president. For the first 150 years, we never had any use of this, and then maybe for the next 50 years, sparingly used, but it's really jacked up. You can't have a situation where 600 plus different district court judges can make a judgment to apply something nationwide injunction. So this legislation would, in a general way, try to limit it to the parties to the suit, and then have immediately appealable. So we don't turn district judges into policymakers. They're supposed to interpret law, not make law.
Senator Dick Durbin had some thoughts about this hearing next week. Listen here.
There's a House Judiciary hearing on judges, and then there's going to be a Senate Judiciary hearing on judges as well. That Chairman Grassley and Chairman Jim Jordan are holding. What do you make of that?
It is rare that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court reminds members of Congress of our important responsibilities under the Constitution. To continue to diminish judges because you disagree with their rulings undermines the credibility of the judiciary and puts the whole constitutional framework at issue.
I wonder what you think about this, and if you would agree that over the years, Congress hasn't done enough. Like, what you're trying to do is have Congress step up to its congressional responsibility.
Well, obviously, I'd be in Disneyland if I said Congress was doing everything in a perfect way. We act too slowly, and sometimes we don't act. But this is an opportunity where we have a real problem, not just in a Trump administration, but in a Biden administration. So we've had Democrats speak out about this in the past, and Republicans speak out about it. So I would hope we would get a bipartisan agreement to a piece of legislation. And then I think the professor you had on previous to me said how even Justice Kagan said that this is abuse. So I don't know how much better you can get from both sides of the aisle that we got a problem we have to deal with, and it's really exploded since Trump's become president of the United States.
How do you feel about calls for impeaching these lower court judges?
Say that again, please.
How do you feel about the calls for impeachment of some of these lower court judges?
You can't impeach a judge just because you disagree with their opinion, but we want to cover up or overcome some of that problem by having these cases that hang around for a long time, and they may have a national injunction after the money's already been spent, or some appeal goes on and the person has been wronged. That's why we want to have legislation that would appeal these decisions very quickly. We got to be a legislative body. I know the president's irritated with some of these judges, and I don't blame him, but you can't impeach a judge just because you disagree with the opinion.
Senator, enjoy your cherry blossom season there in the nation's capital, and thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Take care.
Goodbye.